Another terror attack, this time in Berlin. And a sharp tweet from the president-elect. Trump wasn't always so hawkish about fighting this religious threat, but he grew increasingly bellicose during the campaign as a rash of terrorist attacks made American voters jittery about their safety. To fight terror, Trump proposed, among other things, a temporary ban on Muslims entering the U.S., a stepped-up bombing campaign against ISIS, working with Middle Eastern allies, and allying with Russia and possibly the Syrian regime. Trump outlined his anti-terror strategy in a key speech in August.
Our new approach, which must be shared by both parties in America, by our allies overseas, and by our friends in the Middle East, must be to halt the spread of radical Islam.
Blaise Mishtal of the Bipartisan Policy Center says this emphasis on ideology sets Trump apart from President Obama.
I think by seeing the threat as an ideological one, President Trump will see that the problem not just is stopping attacks, but stopping the spread of that ideology and stopping the potential for further radicalization.
Critics of Obama's refusal to acknowledge a link between Islam and terrorism have welcomed Trump's attempt to spotlight the issue, but they caution against painting the world's 1.7 billion Muslims with a broad brush. Former CIA Director Michael Hayden spoke at the Jamestown Foundation last month.
Actually, it does have something to do with Islam. A lot of it's about Islam. And I quickly add, it's not about all of Islam, and for God's sake, it's not about all Muslims.
Trump advisors do distinguish between Islam and Islamic terrorism, but they say the growing threat of terror requires a more muscular, multifaceted strategy. James Carafano is Director of Foreign Policy at the Conservative Heritage Foundation and advises the Trump transition team.
So by any objective measure, global terrorism is worse today than it was when President Obama took office. So why would any rational person assume that our counterterrorism strategy is going to be exactly the same on January 20th when we know that what we're doing now is not working?
Different, maybe, but Hayden and other experts say one thing will not change. The U.S. can't fight its way out of the war on terror. I'm Mil Arcega for reporter Masood Farivar, VOA News, Washington.